So that was Dunedin. Very nice place, I quite liked it. The weather is not looking so brilliant, but hopefully if we push far enough north, it's looking quite light over there. Got to go a fair way today, heading back inland to the mountains. Well, it is looking lighter over there. It's not a massive wet patch, but just push on through, get out the other side, and head up into the mountains, to the middle of nowhere. Right, let's make a move before we get too wet. Home, sweet home. Right next to Lake Pukaki or something like that, Pukakai. Who knows how it's pronounced? I don't, because I'm no good at those, but this is home. It's quite windy, so that's why I'm in the tent doing this. Rearranging bits. Gotta fix my sleeping mat because it's got a hole in it. That's the first order of the day. Gotta do my chain as well at some point. Hopefully it stops raining because it's raining at the moment. It's a bit stop-start at the moment. So, but the tent is set up and I'm dry, so that's good. Yeah, not much else to do really. It's one of those cheap freebie campsites that's got toilets and nothing else. So, going to be here for a couple of nights, and then to Christchurch after that, which is technically the end. But so the bit with the hole is this bit here. You can see it's a slightly lighter colour than over here. That side's all sealed up. It's just that bit there that we need to get some glue in there somehow. Leave that for a while to dry and see what happens. Well, it appears to be holding air pressure, so I might have a comfortable night's sleep tonight, which is good because the ground under there is a bit hard. Doesn't look like any air is going to be leaking out there now. That's another bit fixed. Morning! This is what Lake Pukaki or Kukakai, or however you say it in Maori, this is what it actually looks like in the daytime when it's stopped raining. So that mountain range right over there in the distance, that's Mount Cook and all that, Mount this, that and the other. And also Mount Cook Airport is over that way as well, so I'm going to be hopping off on the motorbike in a minute, heading over there and then having a helicopter ride round, and then that's my last big expenditure of this trip because I cannot afford anything else until the end of the month because I'm on rations now for the next 2 weeks. But basically this is a glacier lake, which is why it's got a crazy blue colour to it, because as the glacier comes down the mountain it sort of grinds up all the rocks into powder, and then the powder just sort of floats in the water, and then you end up with a super duper bright blue, crazy, awesome looking lake.
Today you'll be travelling in one of our seaplanes or helicopters from in-flight Mount Cook Airport Base. Please listen carefully to the following safety briefing video and follow your pilot's instructions at all times. Your aircraft is equipped with an ELT, axe, fire extinguisher, first aid kit and a survival kit located in the rear of each aircraft.
road, follow this, about 250-300 kilometres, and we end up in Christchurch, the last major destination on my trip. Everything else after that, just sort of dawdling back to Auckland after that. And it feels nice and warm, let's go. Alright, closing monologue time. Where were we? Christchurch, that was it. Just arrived in Christchurch. As I said, that was the official end of the trip. So I've got nothing else planned after this. Apart from just slowly meandering my way back, some way, somehow, back to Auckland over the next few days. There's no video footage of Christchurch itself because as I was walking around, I spent most of the day walking around. But I found it to be a bit sort of, yeah, nothing overly interesting. The city centre itself is actually quite small, and the rest of it is largely just looks like suburbia, pretty much. One thing that is very, very noticeable is that even though it's been quite a number of years now, there is a lot of evidence that there has been an earthquake still. Sort of a lot of open waste ground, a few buildings sort of just left abandoned, broken bits. I came across a stairwell, or a section of a stairwell that was just sort of standing in the middle of nowhere. And there's still whole housing estates that have just been sort of abandoned and left doing nothing. Like a bit like Chernobyl sort of type scenes. except less radiation, so you can walk around if you want. In other news, the motorbike is semi-broken. I've currently limped my way into Upper Hutt at the minute, just on the North Island, to get it fixed today. Yeah, what happened? Well, as you know, the chain has been stretching quite rapidly. It now turns out that the stretching has been happening from just one small section of the chain, rather than it being evenly distributed throughout. Because I actually tightened up the chain and other bits. I fixed the throttle as well, so the engine behaves a bit better now. It idles where it should, and it doesn't do these random runaway events anymore. I also tightened up the chain in Christchurch as well, but on the way from Christchurch to Picton to get the ferry, about half an hour out from Picton, in that one day the chain has managed to stretch so far it actually jumped off the rear sprocket. So I was riding along, oh my god, what's going on there? So I stopped at the side of the road and I've seen the chains come off, and it sort of like ripped up all the bolts and whatnot, so I don't know if it's going to be a bit difficult for the guys to fix it today, because like all the threads have been knackered up and that. But yeah, luckily nothing was broken, so it was just a case of stripping everything off the bike, get it on the centre stand, sort of unpick the chain from the bolts and unwrap it, and then sort of remount it back on the chain and sprocket, tighten it up, and then sort of limp my way down into Picton, where when I'd done some investigating and inspection work later that afternoon, I've discovered that, as I've said, the chain has stretched unevenly. So as you spin the tyre and test the chain, it goes from being sort of acceptable to tight as a drum to way too loose, which is why it jumped off the sprocket in the first place. I just got to stop for a moment because I'm walking around the disc golf course and the guys come out to play the hole. That's out of bounds. Tees over there, or holes over there. So once he's done, I'll continue my monologue. Alright, where were we? Yeah, chain. Too loose at one point, too tight at another point, so it needs to be replaced, as do the sprockets, because they usually sort of mate together. Plus they've all got a bit gnarled up from where the chain came off. But yeah, this is going to be it for videos. I'm going to take a break now, because I don't really know what I'm doing for the rest of this week, and then I've got to start prepping my bike for Australia. So I've got to repack everything, clean everything, sort out customs paperwork, whatnot, carnet and stuff like that. Bits and bobs, and yeah, it's going to be a busy week or two. And I've got to fly into Melbourne to start part 2 of the journey. And then hopefully my credit card should be paid off, and I can have some money again, hooray! And then I'm going to spend it all on shipping anyway, so it's going to be poor again immediately. But yeah, there's not much going on. Slowly wind my way back to Auckland. Have a break from doing videos. Plus I'm taking up a lot of memory on the hard drive again. Maybe even if I'm lucky, get another video edited. Because I'm trying to get rid of these bus ones. I was trying to get them uploaded and done before I came out here and done this, but work was so busy over the winter that I didn't have time to get them all done, unfortunately. But that's life. Well, not much else to say, I don't think. I think I've covered everything. I'll just see if the bike is easy to fix or not. Yeah. Until next time, see you then.